I was coming up.
The car, and we have to go to the gym.
Hey, I'm trying to change the world.
Sure will. Sure will.
You know, you out here in the streets fighting, that's totally different as technique and skill in the ring.
Mm.
And more than likely, that little wild kid that thinks he's bad with her from neighborhood, when he come over there, it'll be like the surfer boy that can tap him up in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will.
So that'll humble you. You
Yeah.
might go back. You might even quit. You might not even come back.
He said it's all technique. Technique and,
I
and
mean,
skill.
yeah, but yeah, just because, you know, he's throwing this.
Wild punches is not breathing right.
Yeah.
Footwork is all off balance.
The old guy at the job, he said you can't.
You know, it's just more like, it's no different than like the bully getting popped in the mouth and now he respects you, leave you alone.
Right.
So it's one of those. It's always humbling.
Yeah, you can't play boxing.
You know what I mean? There's sometimes, you know,
One thing you can't play.
I love to get the ones in there that have a disagreement. You know what I mean? Go on in there and fight. Don't pull out the guns. Go on in there and fight. A lot of times they want to shake hands, don't even want to be friends. I mean, don't even want to fight them. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you don't get I haven't seen that yet, other than just them going home and beating up on their family members. But they haven't went home and been a bully. You haven't got that yet.
So
That usually the discipline and all in the training and boxing. It's like in karate. That usually takes that, eliminates that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
usually takes that anger out of you where you don't want to go hurt nobody. You see
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Be too tired.
Well, not even that,
You
just
respect
the mental
you
aspect
respect
of
more
it,
what
you
you
know,
do.
'cause
You respect it more.
Not because you worked out that day, but more so
Keep on going with
the
it.
discipline
Consistent.
behind it. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
You have a release. You know, a lot of times when we fight, it's because we're frustrated. You know, outside of miscommunication, a lot of times just because we're frustrated about something inside. You know what I mean?
One of my best days in that gym is when you say what makes you motivate you, or whatever. My wife does counseling too as well, so we work with some of her kids too at the same time. And he was doing a prevention a bully worksheet, and I want you to see it for yourself. That first question that they asked.
What makes your superhero
He said, "What's your superhero name?"
Coach Twan?
Oh, that's good.
He lives at the boxing gym. He does this and that. So this is one of my biggest paydays ever. And I put this on my refrigerator. I take it around every day with me just to let myself know this is why we did this. Because some days we have some frustrating days, you know.
You can save them all, but you can save one.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
and
can
that-
save
You know
one.
what I'm saying?
So-
You can have an impact on at least one. So
Right.
That's what you do it for. You know what I mean? Day by day.
Yeah.
Yeah, real talk. I used to work in the school system, and I worked with the type of kids that y'all talking about. And that was one of the things I would often, especially when I had one who was a bully, who was aggressive, a lot of anger, strong. That was one of the things I would always suggest to the parent. Like, have you considered getting them in some type of boxing or, you know, some type of karate or something like that, so that they can learn that discipline? And like what I was talking about earlier,
It's a total outlet.
Yeah,
So when
channel
you let
that,
that stuff there,
Yeah.
it'll stay controlled.
Yeah.
So that's what that is.
Yeah, because I think that's very important for our community. Because I mean, everybody can benefit from it, but for us in particular, we know the trials and tribulations that we face, you know, as African American and people, you know, it's hard, and you have a lot of frustration, and it's difficult for you to be angry because you show a little bit of emotion, you know what I'm saying? And that little bit, you frown your face up and people checking you like, you got an attitude? You know, and so it's necessary for us in our community to help them to channel that. So even though you're mad, let's put that where it needs to be.
Right.
Don't just rage and, you know, tear everything up because that's counterproductive. That's not helping. So, yeah, tell me about that part, emphasizing that part. How does that work with you all and the kids that you're working with, the people that you're working with?
As far as
discipline, like instilling that part in it. Like how
we instill it?
Yeah.
Different drills, talking. We show them and give them examples of things, you know, that, what are they doing wrong. It depends on the situation, actually, you know. So just like I said, the one student that was beating up on his sister or whatever, discipline with a bunch of harder exercises. We keep them back from class or whatever, you know. We don't embarrass them to hit nobody or nothing like that. That's totally not what we do, you know. But other than that, that's how we get through to them.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the tactics that use are more like, I guess what what we're used to as youngins. You know, used to more extra, you know, do push-ups.
Squats, wall sits or whatever.
You know what I mean? Like that. You know, it's not nothing, out of the ordinary. Other than that, we usually, like he was saying, we just take a chop.
I know y'all say we didn't want to say soft, but as I said, I worked in the school system with a lot of these kids, and a lot of times what I notice is, for you in particular, the heaviness of my voice was a trigger. They're not used to hearing that in the house. So, you know, I walk down the hallway and I say, hey, you know, it's like, who you talking to? They scared to death, but they didn't know how to respond to the voice. And I could see it in them. Everything in them say, I'm scared to death. I don't really want no smoke with this dude, but I got to puff up. You know what I'm saying? So how do you navigate giving? I know you said it's different depending on who you're working with.
Right.
What lets you know who you can kind of give that to and who you got to pull it back with?
Okay, I'm different. If you
Yes.
I do my best at, being the adult.
Yeah.
We in the gym.
Yeah.
Coach.
Listen here. If we in the gym and you want to poke out your chest, this is the best
glove.
way to do it. So if you want to size me up, let's get it. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? So man, I got to teach you that way, or you going to, let's get it.
I feel you.
I like that.
Yeah.
We got the gloves right now because you were looking at me when you said it.
And that's how it starts. Hey, get the keys, man. Let's go. I do. That's for my family. My family talk. Hey, wait for you, cuz.
We actually had a
What?
about the incident. Long time ago when we first opened. With the young.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a young man in there. So I think it was high school, like maybe first year. I don't know if it matters, but I'm just going to explain it.
Okay.
He was Mexican, and his dad brought him up. His dad was probably like this high, so they're probably about the same height. I think his grandfather must have boxed because he had this aura and this arrogance with him where we can't show him and teach him that.
If you watching, you know who we talking
This was
about.
our first issue at the gym when we opened, too. And so this one we knew we had to really oh Lord, we in for it. So we dealt with him for a while, like not putting in too much effort in the drills, and like he kind of low key would have other ones, slack back and stuff like that. When they spar, he always had an excuse when he get touched up or something. And then I guess one night after, I don't know, after
We
so
had a
long
little
of
session.
frustrations from us, telling us stuff over and over, maybe not giving enough attention. I don't know what it was, but he blew up on my man right here. And so he had to do what I was telling him. We served him in the ring so he could try him. So I'm a little worried, though, because this is our first issue. Like, the boy was only 15, 16.
Yes. Like a 35-year-old man.
So I had to, get back to the shop to make sure he was good. He came and got me. So the dad was there, when he came to pick him up from the class. I was like, let me make sure everything be good. So the dad, this was a little wild to me.
Yes.
I come in there and he was excited.
He give us hugs, crying.
He was like, he needed that tough love. And I'm sitting here thinking, this the first for me. Because, this guy has a dad.
Yeah.
So tough love and, he looking for me to give it. I didn't understand that. So anyway, I was like, well, before you leave, can I talk to you? So I just wanted to, see what the guy's problem was. And then I also want to let them know too, like, well, look, we've been having issues with your son. You know, we wanted to get this all out in the open, perfect time. So I'm in there. I let the youngin get everything off his chest, but he's really getting it off his chest. You know how youngins do. So at the very end, I just try to ask him nicely. All right, well, is everything cool now? Are we good? Are we gonna be able to come in tomorrow and start on a new page? You know, type thing. Chest out, huffing and puffing. Don't want to answer me. His dad next to him, and he said, his dad had to say, what was his name?
I ain't want to call his name, yeah.
Whatever his name was. He said, did you hear what he said? Are you going to answer him? And I'm looking at the dad like, that's what you going to say to him? Like, disrespect us? Right. And then so he grabbed the stuff, snatching the stuff, and he said, nah, he was just still kind of barking. At that point, I had enough, because you're not going to bark and leave out. So I slammed the door and let him know, hey, man, look, you got the wrong one. Try to be professional, but since you think you can bark and talk,
yeah,
my partner already touched you up. I'll touch you up and your dad up.
At the same time.
Right now in this room. Ain't gonna let you ever come in here and disrespect none of that. We ain't had no problems out of them.
Yeah.
Like that. Came for a little while. Everybody else that started showing up was beating him up, so then, he faded back. But he came back.
Yeah, came back.
Overweight and everything.
Yes.
He came back with a different attitude.
Yeah.
That man told me that really crushed me. He was like, you guys more of a father figure to me than anybody. And that was very touching. And I couldn't accept it because I know your father, this is not. And that's crazy.
We hear a lot of stuff that's a little strange, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
You just stick it out. Try to be there for the youth.
Just know we open the gym for a reason, and it ain't just single mothers.
Right.
Some of these parents just don't know what to do with these kids because there's so much anger and so much, you know what I mean? So our slogan is our house, your house. So
everybody want to be a thug, man. I had to tell my little cousin the other day.
Well, we're not even dealing with thug attitudes mostly, though. It's just anger.
Right.
A lot of them
frustrated.
It could be just they mad at their parents for something, or just mad because where they live. I don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be just because they're not cool in school. It's really not thug attitude that we're dealing with, like, as much as you think it might be. We're in Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, y'all in Virginia.
I've seen a lot of kids deal with more criticism.
Yeah.
You'll get that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's that confidence builder from that.
A lot of our kids are confident.
Right.
They probably gamers. They don't have no type of coordination.
Structure,
build,
yes.
They're in the room all the time. No social life. They come in there and they really like, wow.
Yeah.
Like a whole new, they're accepted. Like I said, our slogan is our house, your house. And we treat everybody as fans.
It's their home.
They come in there.
We mean that.
They might not be, I guess, having a lot of friends in school, but they look forward to going to the gym.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with, like you said, we got to give y'all props, that commitment. Because a lot of times, even though you're showing it, a lot of these kids, when they see it, it's like, I still need you to prove it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though it's like, all right, he did it that time, but next time I come, I'm still going to cut up because I don't know if he really meant it. And when they see that commitment, when they see that passion that's met with the purpose of, I'm really trying to help you. I see you fighting me. I'm still coming. This door is still open. So my hat's off to y'all for being there because, I know a lot of them, they run into those situations where the mentality of it is, I knew you ain't care. I knew you ain't care. You gave up. And it's like, they're doing everything to make you give up. But it's like, you're not supposed to give up. You're supposed to ride with me. So my hat's off to y'all for sticking in there. Because, like I said, I've been in them trenches with them kids. And I'm like, I used to work in Norfolk. And I'm like, yeah. So, and it was hard because I ran into those situations where, and that was a question I was going to ask y'all in regards to that. I think y'all kind of answered it, though. Like, how far does it extend? Because it was, you can move heaven and earth in the school. But they gotta go home.
Yes.
That's what I tell them all the time. We can only do our
part. Right.
You know how y'all say we ain't got them but 6 hours out the day. We got them one.
1 hour. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes in that one, the parents want to come in there and be the coach too, just like in basketball and all that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
That's what I was gonna ask, but I know it's about the another thing with that when you just said about the parents, like. Y'all know this stuff. Y'all know the technique. Did you ever get a parent to come in there and say, he ain't doing the jab right or he ain't doing the step
we do.
right?
We do. We get those parents to do that. That's why we put a sign on, parents stay beyond this point, and let the coach do their job.
Because you know what you doing.
Right.
It's like you could tell me something that I grew up doing.
Sort of like I got a kid right now that knows what he's doing, but he's just lazy and they just don't want to do it. So at that point, like you're saying, you got to stay there and give up, because I must give up. But I had a pep talk from my wife, and she saying, look, this is what we're here for, this is what we're doing. I do this on my behalf, but you got to do this on your behalf. But the same thing we're teaching his kids. So, and like what he was saying earlier, you got to check yourself.
Yeah.
You got to look in that mirror, okay, what's going to happen here now? So I had to come back with a different attitude, different vibe, and a different teaching method, So that helps me a lot.
Yeah, and another thing, like, it got to be a passion, because I know sometimes y'all get up and be like, oh, I want to go on this, but it's your business.
It's your business, so you got to. It's like okay, at the end of the day, you say it like that, but that's why I tell people to go do something you want to do, that you love to do, that's your passion, because I really don't work every day. I go in there to have fun. I go in there, my trouble is when they make me do the paperwork or something, or I got to get a real troublesome kid that I got to find another method. That's the hardest part for me, real. Other than that, I'm living the life I think. And I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Thankful.
I mean, you said closing comment. Well, look.
Yeah, make sure you sign up.
Yes, man, come see us, please come see us. Y'all come out see us.
And sign up for the gym. You know what I'm saying? He got what y'all say, the
2 for 1.
2 for 1?
2 for 1, yeah.
$1 a month, year contract.
Check us out on Facebook. On Facebook.
Virginia Beach.
Yep.
977 Chimney Hill Shopping Center.
Yes.
And he got a picture where he's a chef. He'll fix you dinner.
Yes, we do that too. We do meal prep and things like that too. So we'll get your diet right too as well.
Yeah. You want to shout out your wife? You say.
Yes, shout out Dino and Twanya, Coach Twanya, Nina Bryant. That's another half of the powerhouse. So it's my best friends and my wife and my daughter, and that's our house, but it's still your house.
Oh,
yeah. Anything you want to say in regards to some of the support you said you was trying to get, how they can help you out?
Yes.
Yes. You want support, please go to Powerhouse or
On Facebook. Yep.
Savage Inc. That's strategic advocacy.
IG as well.
And grassroots engagement.
And tell them cash out me.
Yeah.
He said cash out me. I love it.
Any donations will be tax deductible, and we can go toward definitely supporting.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Helping out Powerhouse. So please help us all out.
Yes, thank you.
Cash out.
Thank you.
Vernon Cuffey.
Thank you in advance. Thank you in advance.
For the equipment. That's our show for today. And thank you for coming out to the ManUp Podcast Lounge. Now we're going into the last commercial. Peace. You ready to know?
I want to turn from
I
this
have a
side.
dream.
Go on.
One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed.
Yo, what's up? It's the ManUp Podcast Lounge. It's the ManUp Podcast Lounge. It's the ManUp Podcast Lounge. Man up, the ManUp Podcast Lounge.